Hello there. Good evening. Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the COVID-19 vaccine and some of what that entails. Okay, for starters, I made a video before the Great Rat Race as to who was going to be the origin of this vaccine because there was a lot of money to be made in it. Bonnie Henry? Yeah, you dropped the ball on that one. Now, I understand the pharmaceutical industry transcends borders and all that other sort of stuff, but it's the United States that has purchased the rights to this medication through certain companies such as Pfizer. That's right, the guys who make Preparation H and Viagra created a highly effective COVID-19 vaccine. Cheers. Um, However, with in line with my conspiracy theories that COVID-19 was released upon the world by the Chinese on purpose, one could surmise that they had an antidote or a vaccine to begin with before this plague engulfed the world. I mean, what's the Chinese Communist Party's stance on infecting their own population and denying them a vaccine that they may have already had? Um, but it's a dirty trick, but you know what? Money is money. And the Chinese Communist Party is in full line with that. Okay, now let's talk to a different subtopic. And that is people's phobia of vaccinations. I understand that they're kind of creepy and they're scary. There are a lot of reasons to disagree with vaccinations, and they're not paranoid, although a lot of them are. They're not all paranoid delusions. Um, like some people think that's to inject a microchip into you, or it causes this in people, or it leads to autism and all that sort of stuff. And most of it is a load of junk. That's not what it does. But an important aspect of this that you must know is if the government wants you to have that vaccination, you're getting it. Um, and you go, oh, well, I'm simply not going to allow them to inoculate me. Then how am I going to get it? Wrong again. There are other ways that they can make you uh, have this vaccination in your system. I'm not going to go into all the kinds of ways they could do it, but there are a great many ways. It could be in your tobacco, it could be in your alcohol, it could be in your water supply. It doesn't have to be a pill per se. It doesn't have to be an inoculation per se. Those would be more effective methods. But let's say they wanted the vaccination into every single citizen, and they were willing to wait a year or two for the total effects to work on an individual. Obviously, through tap water, you're not going to get the density of an inoculation, but over time, it would have the same effect. I mean, they could even put invisible vaccination clouds into the sky and have everyone breathe that in, and it, more or less does the same thing over time. However, there will be more down to earth reasons as to why you would be forced into taking a vaccination. And now, I'm not anti vaccination. This is coming from a guy who, for 5.5 years, took some injections into the buttocks from psychiatric medication, and knowing that it was causing me to be physically ill. And I'm saying that vaccinations aren't a bad thing. People go, that's the strangest thing I've ever heard. Why would anyone ever think of that? Did you enjoy getting your injections of Invega and Clopixel? Absolutely not. But I knew I couldn't say no. Because the thing is, the powers that be will get angry if you say no. And their anger is worse than this vaccination. Trust me, you don't even want to get COVID in the first place. But this is kind of the creepy part, is that there will be a little bit of COVID in that vaccination. Not that I don't think there's not COVID in everything else, but there'll be a little bit of COVID in that vaccination. So that's enough to creep out some people, at least. But that's kind of how vaccinations work. And you don't want full-blown COVID. Like, that would be not fun at all. That would be very, very bad. Basically, what it boils down to is comply or, be ignorant to complying, and you're complying anyway. You don't have to know that you're complying. All you have to do is comply. And that's why they're pitching a big stink about this conspiracy theory, because it was just an anti-mask rally. The Canucks O Canada singer was sacked, and rightfully so, in my opinion, because the whole anti-mask movement is stupid. It's diverting attention from the real problem, which is why it's getting propped up. Oh, it's uncomfortable for me. I can't breathe. Well, there was a black man by the name of George Floyd who said the same thing, and to no avail. Now, I don't give one tinker's damn about him. He was a meth addict trying to exchange a $20 bill or something like that. He doesn't deserve to be on posters and stuff like that, but, they rode with that, so that was their deal in the States. But yeah, the prospect of you have to have identification that says that you have taken the COVID-19 vaccination. I actually agree with that. Although, the government having more information about you sounds scary, but they have everything else. It'll just save a lot of inconvenience of people going, oh, he didn't have the vaccination or whatever. Or, if you're questioned by the authorities, yes, I had my damn vaccination, get lost. It's as simple as that. I mean, they have your social insurance number. They know where you went to school. They know what car you rented. They know where you live. They got you on their cell phones, so they can pinpoint if you're taking a crap or not. They could probably even hear if you're taking a crap or not, because your phone's in your pocket and they got audio recognition technology. They can hear the turd plop into the toilet. They know your spending habits. They know a lot about you anyway. What difference does it make other than you've appeased the powers that be by taking the damn COVID-19 vaccination, even if it is like something that you dread? I dreaded taking inoculations of Invega and Clopixel. But I did it, and obviously I'm not in a position I'd like to be in, but I wasn't a whiny little bitch about it. And the same thing with masks. Like, there are people, and they have their reasons for not wanting to wear masks, and it usually boils down to, oh, my freedom, I don't want to be uncomfortable, I can't breathe in this thing, whiny crybaby reasons. And it's just like, no, I don't enjoy wearing a mask, but I do it because it's a mandate. You're told to do it by the powers that be. So, this vaccination, Americans got it first, along with the Europeans, some of the Europeans anyway, and Canada was dogging behind, and that is a financial thing. It's not that the Canadians weren't trying to get it as quickly as possible. They had the same politics on the vaccination as everyone else did. Although they presented them differently, they told different lies about it. They had the same goal. They wanted to get it as quickly as possible and distribute it and look like Mr. Big and make as much money as possible. The Canadians didn't do it. Bonnie Henry didn't win the race. So she might be a media darling here in BC, but guess what? She didn't win the race. At the end of the day, BC did not win the race. Canada did not win the race. And, it takes savvy businessmen, like someone named Donald Trump, to enact and make moves, power plays, to get things done. Stuff that Justin Trudeau could not get done. He couldn't even push the Trans Mountain Pipeline through. He spent $12 billion on the friggin' thing, and he couldn't get it done because he's incompetent. But oh no, we got to forget about all that because he's Justin Trudeau and he's Mr. Elegant and kind-hearted on the screen for however long per day he has to do that. When in reality, like I said before, he's a drug runner, he's a gun runner, he does all those sort of things. He meddles in the affairs of other places. He does so in the name of justice, like a phony Captain America. But, at the end of the day, Justin Trudeau was an incompetent, and other world leaders were not. And I think I'll end this video on that note, and I'll talk to you people later. Have a good one. Or go fuck yourself. One or the other. I don't care.